Alright, in this next section, we're going to be talking about the story and evolution of money and why this is important to the survival of cryptocurrencies. The problem, well, if you define the problem properly, you can actually find out the solution to this. And you can trace every single problem in society back to money or the lack of it. I think one of the most important sayings of the century probably is from Professor Milton Friedman in 1999. He said this: I think the internet is going to be one of the major forces for reducing the role of government. The one thing that's missing, but that will soon be developed, is reliable e-cash. Now remember, he said this in 1999, and we are in 2017. So almost 18 years away, and it's becoming a reality. In fact, next year will probably mark the anniversary of Bitcoin. To be more precise, 31st of October of 2018 will be the 10-year mark. So we have come so far away in terms of developing a reliable e-cash that it's revolutionizing the way we transact, revolutionizing the way we do business as well. Now, if you can study the history of money, you can predict its future, which is why I became a student of currencies actually. I always wanted to figure out what was going to be happening. Cryptocurrencies are going to be part of the evolution. We're moving forward whether anyone likes it or not. We'll look at the evolution and their potential advantages over traditional currencies. Cryptos are very complicated and difficult to understand. Even techies don't understand them fully. Now, I'm not a techie, but I have a programming background, so I can fairly well understand what's going on and what's being said as well. We'll try to make it as simple as possible using plain English for normal investors, so don't worry. Now, here's a bit of trivia. Did you know that salt was used as money, which is where we got the term salary from? Did you also know that cigarettes were used as money because during the World War it was considered a great currency to barter things? I'm going to explain to you the history of money in less than 60 seconds. Whatever we create in life through our hard work, we can bottle up or store this economic energy so it can be exchanged for other goods and services that we require when the time comes. In the early days, you'd exchange your time and effort for something of value, be it land, wheat, rice, salt, shells, stones, or livestock. But with the barter system, we later discovered that we couldn't break land up or cut off the chicken's leg to exchange for something of smaller value. Or suppose you wanted an apple, but couldn't cut up your cow. You could give milk, but how much milk would fetch an apple? The milk would spoil sooner than later, and the apple would be an apple. Finding the relative value of each and every item was difficult, and trading was difficult because it meant that you'd have to have different exchanges for each and every item. The problem was, it wasn't divisible, which is when we discovered metals and how they could be shaped into round objects of different sizes and weights. These objects lasted longer and were nearly universally accepted and could be conveniently taken when they traveled. Now, carrying around all these metals was becoming more and more difficult, especially when you started to accumulate a lot of them. Which is when we discovered paper and notes that were equivalent to a certain amount of metal. Thus, paper money was born. Paper money started to become popular in Europe because it was easier to carry around and transport. However, people got greedy again and started cheating. They didn't back up their paper money with those precious metals. Instead, they decided to remove this, as it would enable us to trade more and make more money. Yeah, but more on this later on. Then we started to think that carrying around paper was a nuisance. Why not carry a piece of plastic which could be tallied off at the end of the day? And so plastic money was born, and the revolution of the credit card. Then, we're smart. We started to think again. With the advent of these fast computers all connected together, why couldn't we just keep a digital central record of everything? So we saw the first sign of digital money. However, that was centralized. All the power and authority of your money was with a central authority. Remember PayPal? If they lost your money, good luck. Then, as we enter the age of 2008 and the financial crisis and all that, you probably realized something was happening. Probably out of desperation, that all this power and authority was with the banks and financial institutions that control the digital money, people began to question why they should even have all this control. Besides, they worked hard to create it. And so we saw the emergence of blockchain and cryptocurrency, the first version being Bitcoin. And that, my friend, is the history of money in less than 60 seconds. Now, while blockchain, cryptocurrencies, or Bitcoin are relatively new, that is just about 10 years old, studies show that major currency changes take place every 40 years. What that means is that we have another 30 years to go and to profit from with this massive transformative technology. So are you ready?